another side of this thing is like, why do you got to get pulled to one side? It feels like nowadays inside of politics, it's like you have to be conservative or you have to be liberal. And I'm like, sometimes I'm conservative, sometimes I'm liberal. Depends what we're talking about.
We're a victim of our own freedom, in a way. We're kind of like a victim of our opulence and our affluence. When everything's hard and everybody's struggling to survive, the fact of the matter and what needs to be done becomes starkly clear. And I think it's easier to get people to fall in line or just hierarchy establishes quickly. You know, there's all these options and there's so many different things we could do, but it's so hard to see what the truth is because everybody's expressing themselves individually.
Here's the truth is that we need each other. And conservatives need liberals and liberals need conservatives. Are you guys sick and tired of the nonsense that goes on in politics? Well, in Canada, just like many other countries out there, we have the same ridiculous stuff happen inside our parliament buildings that probably happen whether you're from the United States, the UK, or whatever country you're from. And you look at these leaders running your country and you're like, what the heck is going on? And I know we are a spiritual channel, but part of spirituality, a big part, is about connection. And connecting with like the reality that you're living within and the belief systems that you have and the people that you vote for and all that stuff. You're being really quiet. You're staring at me with these crazy sunglasses.
You're doing a spiel. You're talking, and then I was like, how am I going to connect with them if I got shades on?
Right now, there was some nonsense that went on in the Canadian political sphere this week, and I have this clip, and I want to show you this because whatever side of the spectrum you fall on politically, at some point, I think we need to like transcend our politics and try and get like pull yourself out and get some type of a meta perspective and look at this from the outside looking in, because it's crazy sometimes the nonsense that goes on. I'm going to show this little clip here and then we're going to kind of like unpack it and talk about it.
Yeah, well, I implore the viewer to, when they're watching this, don't feel swayed any way by this preamble or whatever you call it that we just said.
Yeah.
How do you actually think about it? You know, what's your genuine response to it? Some people, I don't even know. I haven't seen this. This is new to me. But, you know, the power of perspective is crazy. Everybody will see something different. That's something I've been beaten over the head with recently. So,
all right. Well, let's watch this this like a 2-minute clip, and then we'll unpack it.
So, the high school drama teacher over here accuses others of liking the sounds of their own voices. This from a guy who, if he were made of chocolate, he would eat himself. Answers my question, which I keep asking. It's about the cost of groceries in BC and everywhere else. Now, he's right. The NDP has already put in a carbon tax there, but he wants to force them to increase it by almost 40 cents.
Okay, so right away, if I was ever talking to somebody and they went, Justin over here, even if it's true that I would eat myself if I was made of chocolate, if somebody ever said that to me, the conversation would be over. You were throwing your pearls to swine. If somebody's gonna, these are adults, right? They are adults?
Yes,
right.
Adults.
Right.
Running the show.
And so let me calm down a little bit, okay? Because, I don't want to,
that's fine, man.
Yeah. Listen, there are, I believe, people that would watch this and be like, that is how you communicate. That is how adults communicate. And if you're being an idiot, you deserve to be humiliated. That, like, there's a normalness to that. It's weird for me to say what I said, that if I was talking to somebody and they go, Justin over here, like if I was debating someone and they said, Justin over here would eat himself if he was made of chocolate. And I'd be like, I'm done. I'm not communicating with you. That's a ridiculous thing to say. We're never going to reach a common ground. If you're going to throw that kind of shit out there, you have no interest in actually communicating.
Yeah, the bridge is already burned.
And I'm but a simple man. Somebody out there's probably like, yeah, because they're not there to communicate. They are there to defeat one another.
To one up.
That's what they're doing. So sorry, to the smartest person goes the victory, and to the person who's best at getting people on their team, and to the person that makes the most damn sense.
Well, let's see how this.
Sorry, I interrupted the hell out of
That's fine.
this.
Let's see how this rap battle goes.
Yeah.
Cents to 61 cents a litre, a federally imposed tax by the costly coalition of the Liberals and NDP. How much will it add to the cost of groceries for the average family? How much?
Honorable Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I was a high school teacher before getting into politics, and I'm having a little trouble remembering what exactly the job that the Leader of the Opposition had before getting into politics.
Look at the people behind him. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Come on. Look at that guy with the gray suit who's standing right beside. Look at the smile on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, we got him. We got him good. Is this a comedy club? Are we in a comedy club? What is happening? All right, let's keep going. I just want to keep going.
On supporting Canadians with a grocery rebate, with a growing economy, with great middle-class jobs. We're delivering health care supports for Canadians from coast to coast to coast.
I was calm this week. I felt like enlightened this week. And just a clip of some politics, and it's amazing how earthly you become again. Just kidding. I wasn't
dental
actually.
care that has helped 300,000 kids access dental care over the past number of months, including 1,100 in his own riding. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to be there for Canadians.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, and he left right in the middle of the semester, and I'm having trouble remembering why. Now, Mr. Speaker.
Oh! Snap!
Mr. Speaker. But he certainly wasn't a math teacher. He certainly was not a math teacher. His own finance minister says the deficits pour fuel on the inflationary fire. Right before she introduced $60 billion more deficit spending measures. How much will that add to the inflation rate Canadians have to pay? How much?
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
So
Give us the point here.
the point of that ridiculousness is that I'm sure there are people that whatever side of the aisle you sit on go like, yeah, good one, got him. People who know what's going on in that sphere, and they feel like, yeah, chalk one up for my team. And I was like, where are we going with that? What are we really accomplishing in the political sphere as a conservative or a liberal by picking your side and attacking like that? Like, no one wins in what happened there. No one is that, how are we advancing as humanity?
Well, we can't put the horse before the cart. One step at a time. We are, as I've been remarking lately, I believe we are in one of the most vain, one of the most narcissistic times since the dawn of man. Now, that doesn't mean we give up on humanity. That doesn't mean that we're screwed, but we happen to be in a very shallow, petty, narcissistic time where it's, our generation invented the selfie, the selfish. Let me take a selfish real quick. We are narcissists in the West here. And, the politics, there's almost a way of looking at it where it's like, at least everybody's fucking laughing. At least they're all laughing. It is a little bit like a...
But it's also kind of sad because it feels like nothing's getting done. And there is suffering behind that nonsense that's going on in that room right now.
Yeah.
There's tremendous suffering going on.
James, trust me, I'm very quick to be frustrated when the bottom line and the truth, when the truth can't be gotten to because there's too many impediments to it. You know what I mean? Like, how are we ever going to get down to even like, you think morality, like any consciousness of like what's right is going on? Maybe they're geniuses. Maybe they understand something I don't, and they're like really, it's a battle of the rightest thing to be. Yeah. But it does seem very petty and childish and immature, and they're flinging shit at each other. Essentially, it's shit flinging battle.
Right, and I see other like channels where like they come from one of those sides, and they're like, oh,
see, it looks like an idiot. It's just stupid and dumb. Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? And people hate that. You don't ever. That's a good way to not have any more friends. Is when you go to their stupid, ignorant, they're not anything, and they're going to judge somebody that could buy and sell their ass. It's like, hang on a sec. You know what I mean? And I'm an asshole for doing that because
Well, there's
for even saying that, because everybody's got value. We're all very like important, every single one of us. But it is frustrating to regard people not getting to deeper issues. I mean, we are humanity. You know that we collectively can do amazing things, and we got to get together in rooms and wear expensive suits and do that.
Yeah. But another side of this thing is like, why do you got to get pulled to one side? It feels like nowadays inside of politics, it's like you have to be conservative or you have to be liberal. And I'm like, sometimes I'm conservative, sometimes I'm liberal. Depends what we're talking about.
We're a victim of our own freedom in a way. We're kind of like a victim of our opulence and our affluence. When everything's hard and everybody's struggling to survive, the fact of the matter and what needs to be done becomes starkly clear. And I think it's easier to get people to fall in line or just hierarchy establishes quickly. You know, there's all these options and there's so many different things we could do, but it's so hard to see what the truth is because everybody's expressing themselves individually.
Here's the truth is that we need each other. And conservatives need liberals and liberals need conservatives. Like I see one thing I see all the time is like I'll be scrolling say through TikTok and there'll be a guy, he has a debate channel, like debate me, and on the top of his screen it says conservatism is a mind virus. Like as if it's like this pure negative thing,
right?
Or like liberals are the cause of and demise of our society. Do you not see that like the need for both sides? How like in conservatism, there's like that holding that traditionalism. It's there for a reason. There's a reason why traditionalism exists because many things have been tried and this is what worked.
Yeah.
And progressivism is needed because it helps advance us. It helps us get to the next step. And we have to find that balance in between there. You need conservatives. The world would blow up if it was just conservatives or just liberals. Understand that.
Like, well, part of the problem is that we think we're such good communicators as humanity. But one thing I've observed recently, this is just my take. You throw a comment in there if I'm out to lunch. It seems like there's an awful lot of, in this day and age, you can build up like an ego, you can build up a worldview, get into echo chambers, be validated, in isolation, like separate. Like we all have our own little internet cubes that we can do this in. And then there's an awful lot of like projecting onto others. I don't know that we can hear each other clearly when we're making claims. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I know people of different political bends that if I raise the question like, well, have you tried thinking of it from the opponent's side? Like, have you just humored that?
Yeah.
They will not do that.
Yeah.
That's madness.
But
why is it madness? If you even need to ask why it's madness, you're probably already lost. Like, hang on a sec, man. You know how much things I've had to work out over hours of pondering it? Like, I had to think about that forever to get to the truth of it, and now I'm happy I did. But it's a workaday world, and people fill up their time with things. But the problem is, I always wondered, why do people meditate? Why? And I've heard things like, the busier you are, like, I don't have time to meditate. The busier you are, that means the more you should be meditating. I was like, I don't understand. I'm so frustrated and confused.
Yeah.
But the truth is, you're not really thinking about what you're doing in your life. You're not fully aware of why you're doing what you're doing. And I think it's good to have some time. With all this opulence, we'll go to a therapist. We'll go buy some medicine. We'll go buy some alcohol. We'll watch something that distracts us. We'll chase our dream. We'll become a workaholic because, it's all about money anyway.
Yeah.
But if you stopped, I think so many people could use to have the dawning realization, I'm suffering. I'm at the bottom of this. I'm suffering. That's what's happening. That's why I'm so active. I can't get at peace. It's not accessible to me because I haven't looked at what's going on in there, right? Yeah. And so in a world of everybody who's like doing things for crazy reasons, like, do these politicians, do they seem like enlightened, loving, fully conscious, empathetic, concerned with, like, is the question they're asking themselves every day, how can I help as many people as possible? Like, how can I be of service? How can I lighten the load for others? How can I make life more tolerable? Is that what they're asking? Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Is that what you think they're asking?
Well, I don't know. I don't think, to me, I think there's a little bit of that there, but
Right.
I think the idea here is that we continue talks like this and raise the awareness. Not just us. There's like, we're just two guys here doing our thing, but there's people like all over having these conversations. Like, how do we do better at this? And how do we like, and how do we understand the other side better? How do we bring a little bit more unity? Because I don't know if you remember, like it was like 20 years ago. There was not the heat between the two, like between liberals and conservatives. It was never as bad as it is now.
Canadian politics has always been crazy. I remember way back in the day, like you'd see it'd be like yelling and chaos.
Look, there's always been a bit of contention there.
Yeah,
and it appears maybe it's just signs of the times or the economy or whatever.
Yeah.
But it feels like things are inflamed.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are polarized.
And how do we sizzle that down? How do we get back? Like, you know what I'd love to see is like the conservative or the liberal leader like walk across the floor and like hug the other leader.
I was thinking.
Imagine something crazy like that.
I was thinking about this recently because I like to watch Richard Dawkins. Which one's the atheist that he's made a career out of?
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah, I like because I think he does it so well. And I was thinking, like, how would you ever get to this guy to even humor spirituality? Not that anyone has to. I don't believe people should feel obligated to pursue spirituality. Yeah. But I was like, in any debate, man, it's just such a waste because there's no discussion. You mentioned raising awareness there, and an interesting thing is because everything is so much about perspective, when you raise your awareness a little bit, I think that you start to notice that other people are doing it too. Yeah. You know, it's not magical necessarily, it's not necessarily metaphysical or anything like that, but it's amazing that when you're like, oh, you get some insight, then you actually see that other people have been doing it too. How didn't I see that? How didn't I see that other people were on the same page? Because I just got onto the same page as them. Yeah. You know? So that all this discussion, all this stuff is good. I don't get too discouraged when I see something like that. I get discouraged when I see like friggin' California, like footage from how bad the homeless and drug issue is. I'm like,
wow, we could do a video on
what are their politicians doing? Because that's fucking crazy. You've got like a wart on your country there, you know, something that needs addressing, right? And I'm curious, is there places like that where we live? I think there is.
There's smaller versions of it in Canada where there's some, like, we're talking about like city like projects and stuff like that where there's drugs everywhere.
So like
people
real
all over the streets,
severe suffering. If you think too much about the suffering, you probably fall into a depression. You know what I mean? Because I think there's an awful lot of it that's not being addressed. And how the hell are we going to get to the point where we can actually deal with some of that suffering if we're getting together and doing slam battle, you know?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's entertaining and if everybody's laughing or whatever, but like, I hope we can get real at some point because, you know, we are humans, and as shitty as we tend to be, we are self-destructive if we go unfettered. If we allow ourselves to get into some narcissistic state, which I think a lot of us have a tendency to do. I know I have. You will be humbled by your own self. Like, it's not a healthy way to be is inconsiderate of others. Yeah. And be hyper, like, not realize that you're operating from that place. Yeah. You know, like, no, they're just idiots and I'm right. You know, dude, you don't see what you're doing and you're going to like sabotage yourself. So you got to get real. Just wake up, you know? That word's been hijacked.
Well, we want to know what you guys think about the political sphere. What's going on? Should we demand, you know, higher consciousness from our leaders? Maybe it requires us to get involved, you know, somehow.
It knows what it's doing. Yeah. Man. We right now,
consciousness is growing as a whole, and it's all come to the surface, maybe.
Yeah. Well, everything's going a certain direction. There's a way to look at all this where you see that it's a big process of some sort. Yeah. Maybe this is all just as nature intended it.
We'll leave it at that. If you like this video, guys, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and everyone, until next time,
stay spiritual.